The teacher who saw me, the power of one believer. Sometimes all it takes is one person, just one, to believe in you when you can't believe in yourself. This is the story of Daniel, a boy who felt invisible until one teacher reminded him that he mattered. Daniel was never the smartest kid in class. His grades were poor. His notebooks were full of unfinished assignments, and no one expected much from him. Not his classmates, not even himself. He stopped trying because he believed there was no point. What's the use? He thought. Even if I try, I'll just fail. Then one day something changed. His teacher, Mrs. Reyes, noticed him. After class, she quietly walked over to his desk. "Daniel," she said softly, "I know you're struggling, but I also know you're capable of so much more." Daniel gave a tried shrug. "I'm not smart like the others." Mrs. Reyes smiled. "Maybe you don't see it yet, but I do. And I'm not giving up on you." Her words seemed small, but they planted a seed. A few weeks later, Mrs. Reyes asked Daniel to stay after class. "I want you to help me organize these math problems for tomorrow's quiz," she said. Daniel was confused. "Me? But I can solve them." "Yes, you can," Mrs. Reyes said firmly. "I believe you can." Nervously, Daniel sat down and started working. For the first time, he focused not because he believed in himself, but because someone else did. He spent hours practicing, failing, trying again, until the answers finally made sense. Days later, Mrs. Reyes handed back the quiz papers. Daniel's heart raced when he saw his score. An A. He stared at the paper in disbelief. "I told you," Mrs. Reyes whispered with a smile. "You're smarter than you think." For the first time in a long time, Daniel believed her. From that moment on, Daniel worked harder, not because it was easy, but because he finally believed he could. Years later, Daniel stood on stage, receiving his diploma, and in the crowd, Mrs. Reyes was there, smiling proudly. He knew he couldn't have done it alone. Today, Daniel is a teacher himself. Whenever a student says, "I can't do it," Daniel smiles and says, "Maybe you don't believe in yourself yet, but I do." Because Daniel knew the truth. It only takes one person to believe in you, to help you believe in yourself too. To every teacher, to every mentor, to every person who has ever believed in someone who couldn't believe in themselves, you may never know the impact you've made. The quiet encouragement, the extra time spent after class, the simple words, "I believe in you." These moments may seem small, but to someone fighting silent battles, they mean everything. You are the reason some students hold on. You are the reason some will rise above their doubts. You are the reason someone will believe in themselves again. So never stop believing in them, even when they've stopped believing in themselves, because one day they'll remember you as the person who changed their life. If you feel like you've failed, if you feel unnoticed, remember this: you are stronger than you know. You are capable of more than you think, and somewhere out there, someone believes in you. And if you're that person, if you're the one offering hope to others, remember, it only takes one believer to change a life. And that one person could be you.